Welcome. This is activespirituality.life. It is a weekly forecast program with astrology and a guided meditation activation to help you make the most of your week. It's run by Pamela Cucinell, that's me, the astrologer, and Suzy Meszoly, Master Healer. We invite you to find out more about our individual work, Suzy Meszoly, SuzyMeszoly-healer.com, or insightoasis.com for astrology. You can also find both of us at activespirituality.life, and we look forward to your joining us every week. Please share with your friends. Here we go.
Welcome everyone to activespirituality.life with Pamela Cucinell and Suzy Meszoly. This is week 43, starting on October 23 of 2023. Nice little group of numbers there, Pam. So Pam's going to let us know all about the week ahead. And I do see that we have a full moon in this week. And I understand there's also a lunar eclipse. So what's in store for us, Pam? And then I will be back with our meditation.
The week of October 23rd, we may still be processing everything that has come off the eclipse of over a week ago and all the passion and drive and in some cases violence that comes with that. The piece that's really important at this time, and especially to bear in mind today as the sun has entered Scorpio, is that we are in an intensification cycle for everything that is about what we want to follow through, believe in, and hold dear. This isn't a time to sit on the sidelines. It's not a time to be passive or keep quiet. What is important, especially on a day like today with the moon in the sign of Aquarius and how it's aspected, is to know that we have to recognize what comes up emotionally and understand the best way to articulate it. Pretty much what we are witnessing in this deeply polarized world that has been created, exacerbated by social media, which, again, anyone who listens to me regularly knows that I am a big fan of technology, but I do recognize that we have this machine, and technology is just an overview of every aspect to it. The machine, how we deal with it medically, teaching, infiltration, war machines, things that can make the world better, and things that can literally destroy the world. And with this profound technology, this profound power, comes the ultimate recognition that it's not so much about the power as how we use it. And what is totally in all our faces right now is the world that's been created to magnify power, whether it's money, war machines, having more than everybody else, land fighting, all these symbols of power. It comes down to how do we use it? How do we use it? And so when people or countries or ideologies have tremendous power, but they don't have the wisdom of how to effectively use that power. Not only will they lose it, but it'll blow up. And we're seeing that continually. So today, Monday the 23rd, and into wee hours of the 24th, these are really good days to understand the reactions. And I talk about this a lot, how we react to things as opposed to how we respond. But the essence of this with that Aquarian moon, which is giving us some space for objectivity. Now, the negative with Aquarius energy is when it gets a sense that it knows better than anyone else. And so that needs to be looked at as well. The kind of imperiousness or the sense of only I have the answers. Those are real snares to turn the mirror on and double check. So that might be something that comes up in yourself or someone around you, and that sudden upset, that realization that things are not quite what we necessarily had in mind, may be coming for some of us or many of us, or we'll see it in the news by mid-afternoon on Monday the 23rd. And the times I give are Eastern time, so please adjust depending on where you are. Now, at that point in time, the moon goes void of course. And once it's void of course, we're in this sort of window area of nothing really is going to get off the ground or started, but it's a great time to finish things up and kind of reset. And that is lovely to do before the 24th, Tuesday, 4:33 a.m. when the moon enters Pisces. And once this occurs, we're in this lovely period of time that's very supportive with that waxing moon energy that we're still in from that eclipse, where we're building on things that we're passionate about and we really care about. And with the moon in Pisces, the emphasis is so much on love, sharing, creating, extending. Oftentimes we have these visions or these thoughts of what we'd like things to be, but they're limited by the scope of what we can actually see and imagine. When we open that up to endless possibilities of supportive partnerships, well, then it just expands infinitely. And so today we might have a little pushing up against, especially if we are very attached to one way of being or seeing, and we're moving into a new development or inviting in new possibilities. And by evening time, we can, I often say, turn your head off if possible, put the wishes under your pillow or what you'd like to have happen or manifest, and invite in dream intelligence to give you some answers or a different perspective when you wake up the next morning. And so as of dawn on Wednesday, we have this lovely, juicy, wonderful day, which is so promising for creative insights and mind expansion. And you want to keep things kind of as adaptable as possible with that Pisces moon, because things can come in that change the landscape, and you want to be able to run or go with something when it's positioned in front of you, instead of saying, I have that non-refundable ticket to whatever, and therefore you're locked into one way of being or seeing. Now, that doesn't mean that non-refundable ticket has you in a space where you can't invite new things or different ways as you enter into it. But just know, especially on this day, let things kind of seep out and expand, because it's such a wonderful day for pulling in new possibilities. And I can't emphasize enough, which again, broken record, but to counteract the incessant negativity and strife that we are being barraged with on a daily basis through the news, through anxiety in the streets or people we encounter. There is so much rage, confusion, anxiety, a sense of being unsettled. And so, as a daily practice, to find moments of time when we can breathe into that and vision just expanding that peace pond or endless sky of quiet, it's powerful. It certainly is going to help you, and it will help people around you. So overall, the 25th is a fantastic day for working energetically with anything in your life that is up for transformation. Even if you're not able to initiate or do anything specific on this day, the desire, hope, focus, and attention to that intention magnifies. So Thursday the 26th, the moon goes void, of course, at 2:39 a.m. And it's void for a few hours. Many people will be sleeping, especially people in the Eastern time zone, until it enters Aries at 6:02 a.m. Now, at this point in time, it's kind of jump out of the bed, get into action, make things happen. And it's radically different energetically than what we experienced the past couple of days, especially for people with a lot of water or earth in their horoscope, because Aries is fire, it's spontaneous, it's passionate, it's what we call cardinal, so it loves to begin something, let's start something new. And one can certainly do that. Just know that whatever it is you want to initiate or you're putting your energy into is most likely going to encounter some sort of power struggle, or it could be financial, or it could be physical, or it could be resistance either within yourself or people around you. Some reason it seems impossible to make this happen. That doesn't mean it's unable to come to fruition. What it does mean is that the awareness of this fight, difficulty, struggle is a indication of how the timing may be off with it, or you need other players in the proposal, or something isn't fitting. And the thing about the Aries energy is we can think by sheer force of will, we can just make something happen. And that's just not always realistic. What does matter and can be helpful is to use that Aries energy to know that, okay, I'm passionate about this, I want this to happen, it's not coming together today, I'm going to put it on another place on the calendar and re-engage at that point in time, or know that you need to talk to somebody else, or do it at a time when you're feeling buttressed and energetically able to make it happen. But these times, and this goes for Friday the 27th as well, these times when we're feeling that sense of nothing's coming together, things just are not gelling, they actually are very useful because they bring into the forefront what is not working. And at that point in time, we can make a decision about if we're going to continue to force it and kind of push it, even though we know that it's tremendous effort, or are we going to observe where the difficulties are and take that observation and information and spin it a different way, instead of being so determined to make it go the way we're feeling inspired to do it at this point in time. Because that's a key thing to recall when the moon's in the sign of Aries, is that we can feel a jump start, an ignition, a desire to move in certain directions. But it's not always the right time to do that. I mean, I can feel inspired to take a walk up a mountain, but unless I prepare myself and make sure it's a day when the trail isn't very slippery and that I can have a companion with me and I've got the gear I need, I need to take that energy and move it somewhere else. Put on some music and dance and just let it go that I'm going to do this more ambitious project. And in the course of the action, making our muscles move, which is so important when fire signs are moving through, absolutely. We are engaging in that kind of furnace energy that's saying, okay, so what I wanted to do isn't coming together, but I am feeling the engine going, so where's the right course? And that can lead us somewhere else. So Saturday the 28th, the moon goes void, of course, at 4:20 a.m., and it enters Taurus at 7:44 a.m. Now this is a very luscious weekend. The other thing that's super important to note is that this is when the partner to that other eclipse occurs. It's the lunar eclipse full moon in Taurus. And for those who like to note degrees, it occurs at 5 degrees 9 minutes Taurus. And this full moon is a lovely complement to the solar eclipse that happened a couple of weeks ago, because what this full moon shows is a picture about, because the last eclipse was very volatile energy. And when it happened, we had a lot of volatility on the planet as well. And it doesn't mean that there still won't be volatility at the time of this eclipse, but what it does mean is that there is so much ability to direct energy in a very focused way. So that's why it's so important to understand how we've been reacting or what we've been feeling, and to direct in a very responsive, focused way where we want to take whatever it is we're going into, whether it's a personal endeavor or you're marching for peace or you're getting involved in some sort of collaborative group effort, make sure you know how you're directing that energy and what outcome you're striving for, because the ultimate outcome needs to be transformation. It's not enough at this point in time, and nor has it ever really been, but it's not enough to just kind of react or hit back or go through a response that doesn't have real concentrated, focused follow through and responsibility for ultimate outcome, because that's the key. What is our personal responsibility with the ultimate outcome and transformation? And the more of us who step on board with that, with this sense of the ultimate responsibility, this sense of not blaming anyone else for a situation, but looking at a situation and saying, what can I do to make this better? And so this weekend is incredibly deepening for whatever that can be, to get organized, to connect with people who are like-minded, to meditate, focus, create on what is that ultimate vision of beautiful transformation that we must strive for at this point in time. And now I turn it over to Suzy.
Okay. So everyone, let's get into our meditation for this week. And I invite everyone just to take a few deeper breaths and just for a few moments, give this time to yourself to come into a place of peace, calmness, and our meditations are contemplations. And today we are going to contemplate ultimate transformation and how we, from our very deep core, can really prioritize our own ultimate transformation. And what does transformation actually mean? So as you take a few deeper breaths, just settling into the self, just contemplate for you what ultimate transformation might mean, might look like, might be in your life. Is it something that you can see clearly or even have an idea of? So just have a little look at that for yourself. And for most of us, transformation really means a spiritual transformation. It's something that we are perhaps seeing for ourselves as a place of freedom, a place of expansion, transforming from a place of constricture, a place of confinement, a place of unhappiness, to a place that is free and open and expanded, a place where we are very much in tune with what might be our reason for living, our meaning in life, our true spiritual meaning. So just take a few deep breaths and think about that for yourself. What would that mean for you? And many times we'll recognize that we're perhaps not living that full and complete life, that we might feel held back, that we might feel that there are still lessons to be learned, roads to be walked, paths to be raked, that we still have some processes or understandings that need to happen. What happens if we just allow ourselves to experience that transformation now? What happens if it has nothing to do with anybody around us, the world around us, what's happening in the world? What happens if it comes entirely from inside us, no matter what our background is, no matter what our parents were like, no matter what our families are like, no matter what our jobs are like? What happens if it comes entirely from within as a deep shift, as a profound perspective change within ourselves, to allow for everything that we would like for ourselves? We're talking, of course, here on a spiritual basis, to just be now. It's about taking full and complete responsibility for ourselves. It's about transforming the shame, the guilt, transforming the blame. There's always plenty of blame to go around. And seeing that where we are now in our lives, what we are now in our lives, is entirely the result of everything that we have done before. This is a very traditional Buddhist perspective. It is the understanding of karma. And it means that everything that comes in front of us is entirely up to us. It does not mean that the universe is doing it for us. It does not mean that there are any external super beings doing anything for us. It means that it is up to us. And sure, we have lots of wonderful guides along the way. But when it comes down to it, it is up to us. It is up to me. It is up to me to prioritize my path, my life, my ultimate transformation. It is up to me to create everything. Hold on to this perspective now. Recognize where you're at in your own life. Recognize what you would like to change. Recognize what you are able to change and set those goals. Even if they might seem a bit impossible right now, set those goals, prioritize, and recognize that it all comes from within you, especially when you hold the mind of compassion, a mind that is genuine, a mind that is free really from attachment and preference, and is present selflessly in loving kindness. Feel that energy of the self, the selflessness in the self. Feel that energy and begin to align and prioritize. And as we take a few deeper breaths, feeling that empowerment from within, I am entirely dependent on my mind, on my heart, on everything within. And as we take a few deeper breaths, gently opening our eyes and feeling that true strength. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, and have a wonderful week. Thank you so much, Pam, and love now.
You have been listening to Suzy Meszoly and Pamela Cucinell of activespirituality.life. If you've enjoyed this program, consider a donation. You can find the link for that, activespirituality.life. Regardless, we look forward to having you join us again for next week's podcast. Please share and have a great week.